Welcome back. You're riding shotgun once again over with this podcast known as Nerd for No Reason. Hello, how are you doing over there in the passenger seat? Is the AC good? The wind in our hair? You got a good snack? You got a pee? We can pull over at the gas station. I'm driving this little car, I guess, right now, currently. Hey, I'm Raven. I've got someone in the back seat.
Yo, what up? It's your boy, Luffy D. Holland, pirate of the open road, son. Get ready.
Dude, when you said Luffy D. Holland, I was like, what is this? Chris was like, I knew you were going to say something about that.
Well, I mean, I didn't really want to do like Monkey D. Holland. Like, nothing really just kind of, like, Luffy D. Holland just really just kind of just rolled off the tongue.
It's
good.
fine, yeah.
So, it got my point
chuckle.
across.
Yeah, it was good. Nice. What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, man. I mean, it's going good. It's all right.
Beautiful weather?
Man, the weather was actually really good yesterday and today, and a little bit warmer than I was expecting.
Right.
So, and saying that, I mean that it was only warm like in direct sunlight. The second I got in the shade, I was like, oh, man, radiation is hot.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool. Like we went down to the country and saw all the family, and it was real good. It was real cool. We brought the kids. We did the annual Easter egg hunt out at Grandma Peacock's, and that was a blast as usual. Got to see, all my cousins and stuff that I don't usually get to see that often. So yeah, it was super fun. What about you?
We need to come down so we can do that sometime with you guys. Maybe next year for Easter we can try and set that up. Because it's not like we really even do anything for Easter. Normally Chris and I would give each other like a little Easter basket, but this year we were both just like, we've got so much stuff going on that we both kind of forgot. But we went and did Easter with his mom's side of the family, and that was really nice because it was like the first time I think it was literally the first time that we weren't the first to leave. We were actually like the last people to leave technically. Because normally one of us would have to go to work or we wouldn't be able to make it because it's a holiday and luckily it wasn't on a weekday. Because we didn't get to see the family for like Thanksgiving or Christmas the day of. So it was really nice.
Cool.
Got to see his crazy cousin Michael.
And how crazy is cousin Michael?
Oh, at some point, someone was like, wow, it's really quiet in here. And I go, oh, Michael's not here anymore. He was literally the loudest person in the room. God bless him. I love him so much.
So yesterday, I remember I texted you guys, and I said, "Hey, my dad is sitting here talking crazy conspiracy theory stuff," and you were like, "Oh man, call him out on there." I was like, "Man, I just did not have the heart to sit here and get into it with this man in the middle of the family get together. For one, because I knew that I would be vastly outnumbered in the crazy conspiracy theorist department, and I don't know if I was ready to start fighting this fight right then and there.
Yeah.
So apparently you guys were like, we choose violence, and you called him up and he started and y'all got into him a little bit. So dear listener, my father said he's fallen into the boomer retirement trap where he's just like, I'm going to listen to news all day and take everything they say to 100% truth. So apparently someone somewhere said that there is the government is going to release a new virus in October, and it's going to be like Corona but 20 times worse. And my first, as soon as he said that, I said, well, can't they push that up a little bit so like I don't have to send the kids to school and then take them back out? Like, can't they just drop it in like August instead? So that way the kids don't ever go back to school. We can just do everything from the house. You
Man,
know, like I don't want to mess up the whole schedule and get like some, all this fall time things going. Like, just drop it in like late summer. Like, let's do everybody a favor.
yeah.
And he didn't take that as, oh, maybe I'm being silly. He goes, well, I don't know, man. You know, the people I'm talking to are,
Who are you
they said, I'm
talking
like,
to?
who are you talking to?
Oh, mudslide. Hey.
Oh, did we scare the dog? Did we scare
No,
Mudslide?
he saw a truck go by and he was like, "What you doing outside?" Ow. Yeah, no, we called him up to because you were just like, he's talking conspiracy theories, and we were like, all right, we want to know what's up because I think I've mentioned that we listen to a podcast called Chilluminati where they talk about a bunch of crazy conspiracy things. Like some of them are like funny, and then some of them they're like, what is this? Uh, but yeah, your dad just fell into the whole thing of it being like under Bill Gates, and that Bill
Yes.
Gates was just running the show, and he basically owns America at this point. He was like, Bill Gates has the government under his thumb, and blah blah blah. And at some point, I told you uh what Chris said to your dad, and then he was like, "Man, don't do that to me." And he was like, "Look, I need you to listen to me. You really think that if everything goes to shit, that Bill Gates is going to be like, okay, well, I own the majority of all of our crops, so no more food for people. There's plenty of other people that, do their own farming stuff and whatnot." And he was like, I need you to tell me right now that you do not believe in this shit. And Chris was like having like a whole, like, coming to Jesus moment with your dad. And your dad was like, I get it. It does sound pretty crazy. And he's like, Dad, I need you to say it. He was like, nah, you're right. So, just so you know,
Oh,
your dad's not
good.
crazy. But
Good.
he said that he had mentioned it to Yvette, and she was like, oh, yeah. And so Yvette said something about it at work, and everyone at work knew what she was talking about. And so I was like, oh my God.
These people work in medicine.
I
This is so
know.
dumb to me.
It's so, like, it's hilarious. Yeah.
And a simple Google search, because I literally, as we were talking in the last, what, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, looked it up and said, largest landowners in the U.S. It goes United States government, Native family tribes, or Native American tribes, then the Emerson family, who owns Sierra Pacific Industries. So the Emerson family, John Malone, okay, who's the chairman of Liberty Media, Ted Turner, who, if you're from the South, you know Ted Turner because he's owned like every television station that's ever ran in the South in the 80s. The Reed family, Stan, I can't pronounce his last name, the Irving family, and that's the top 8. You know who I didn't see there? Bill Gates. And
Man, that's crazy.
and what was so wild is when he said something about Bill Gates, Cody, I don't even know if Cody was even being legit or not,
Oh
but Cody
no.
was like, oh yeah, Bill Gates is the biggest landowner. He's even got a farm in South Georgia. I'm like, oh God,
Oh my.
Cody, Cody, you're
Oh, I'm
killing me
gonna
right now.
text that to Chris right now so we can remember to call Cody out when we see you guys at the wedding.
Uh,
Ah,
oh.
oh,
Oh,
that's
Bill
so
Gates. Oh,
funny.
excuse me. Hold on. Other notable landowners, and Bill Gates owns nearly 300,000 acres of farmland. There we go. As compared to number 5, Ted Turner, who owns 2 million.
Dang, that's
So yeah, y'all get ready.
conspiracies are
October.
so funny. I love it.
So,
October when we're all sick, just
right.
remember it's
When
Bill
we're all
Gates.
sick.
Your
So
dad?
I, I think, yeah.
Man. He was
I think,
literally like, "Is Bill Gates in the car with you right now? Do you have him on the phone?" He's like, "Don't listen to him, Mr. Gates." Ah, so good. Anyways, as you were saying.
so last week, I think it was last week, I was like, oh yeah, I planted this garden and it was so cool. And me and Amy, we did this thing and it was so much fun. We planted potatoes and tomatoes and greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, hams, lambs, rams, all kinds of stuff. It was great. Um,
Thank you.
and I planted my potatoes in a box and I was so happy to have potatoes. And then I went to work Monday and I came back home to check on my stuff. And Sasha, my bulldog, had taken my box of dirt with potatoes in it, and there were box pieces everywhere. This dog ripped this box to shreds and then apparently ate the potatoes. And I don't know if it was Sasha or if it was Roscoe, because Roscoe likes to eat dumb shit too. Um, but yeah, just went and ate my potatoes, and now I'm even more mad at this dumb dog. Uh, I don't even know what to say or do. And then just to make it even worse, this dumb dog, after I let it outside so it could go eat, I had this wheelbarrow out back that I was kind of throwing the trash in, and I put the cardboard box in this wheelbarrow, and I let the dog out, put some food in his plate. About 30 minutes later, I went back out there to check on it, or to check on her, and look to see if there was anything salvageable. This dog had a piece of cardboard she got out of the wheelbarrow, was just sitting dead center of the yard, just gnawing on it like a bone. Just like, ha ha ha, look, I ate your potatoes and now I'm eating this cardboard box, so there will be nothing left.
Dude.
And she knew, she had to have known that I was mad, because she didn't mess with me the entire night, which is weird for her. Either that or she
Yeah.
had a belly full of potatoes and was sleeping it off.
Hey, maybe. She got that good. That sounds like something Kavik would do, honestly. And then he'd get mad at us and growl and like bare his teeth at us when we try to take away what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Huskies. R.I.P. to your potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. We'll try to plant some more, so, but we got to get on it, because yeah, time's running out to plant potatoes.
True.
Oh man. So did you ever end up watching the Quiet on Set documentary that was on Max?
I did. I finished it this week.
Oh, good. We get to talk about that now.
Man, oh man. That that show was like absolutely insane to
It was
watch.
bonkers, wasn't it?
Yes. I went up to one of my coworkers. We had both we were both finishing up at like the same time. And I was like, "Bye, I'll see you later." And I like walked over to my car, and then I ran back over to her and I was like, "Do you have HBO Max?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Dang it. So you haven't seen the Nickelodeon thing?" And she was like, "Oh, no, no, no. I've seen some clips of it." And her and I started talking about it because she also likes a bunch of like true crime and conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And so we started talking about it. Man, she was like, as a parent, I'm kind of scared to watch that because I don't want to be the person that's like, my kid can't ever go out again.
Right. And it's so weird. It's there's there's been all these celebs that came out after the the documentary showed up.
Yeah.
Um, uh, there was a few of them after, like, they wrote those character letters for the bad man who did bad things to Drake Bell, and they were calling out all these people. And the only person that I want to hear from right now
Hmm.
is James Marsden. He's the only person who hasn't said anything, and I feel like he could get out of it relatively easy.
Yeah.
And say, "Hey, listen, I only knew him in this capacity. He was a good guy to me, blah 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 blah, whatever, and then say, hey, in this business, PR people write letters. They wrote the letter for me. I signed it. It went off. I never really had any vested interest in this. PR person came to me. I said, sure, because I know the dude, and signed the piece of paper. And he could get out of it scot free. He'd take a couple lumps on the chin and be done with it.
Yeah.
But his silence is so loud right now. And it breaks my heart, man. Because I like
Yeah.
that dude.
Yeah. No, the whole thing just like brought into light so much like new evidence for other people to be able to be like, hey, some of us wanted to be on this show because we were also like Nickelodeon stars, but it's kind of hard to talk about. In the same way that like Drake Bell was like, this is the first time that I'm ever talking about this except for to my therapist.
Right.
And I just can't imagine like how many other people, especially when you look at Amanda Bynes, and it's like everyone understands now why she absolutely went and did some crazy shit like she did. I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah.
It's just awful. It's so awful to look at. And like, because that was like such a prominent time of like, for me growing up, like I watched a good majority of the shows that Dan Schneider produced and stuff, and I enjoyed it. And now I look back at it, especially at like some of the things that they were like, this is gross. Why did he have us do this? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, no, that was not good for like impressionable children and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. It's weird because when I try to explain this to other people, they're like, oh, well, why hasn't he been arrested and everything? And I'm like, I think I think he's just never been caught. He's never been caught. He's walked that line. He's never done anything quote unquote illegal. And I'm sure that if I have to believe surely that if they ever raided this man's house, they would find just mountains of damning evidence. But
Yeah.
you know, until they get a quote unquote reason to do it, you know, they don't. And I don't know, man. It was weird. Uh, uh, and as a parent, it was just that was the weirdest thing, you know, because there was only like two to me, like two real sane parents, maybe three, of like everyone they talked to. The one lady who was the quote unquote problem mother, she was like, "Why are we doing this?" And then she became a problem.
Yeah.
Drake Bell's dad, who by all accounts
I
was
feel
sitting there watching,
so bad for that man.
dude, he did everything he was supposed to do. He tried to raise flags, he tried to do all this stuff, and then once all this stuff happened, it was just like, oh damn, like this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. This is my worst fear as a parent. I felt the worst for him.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Because when like Drake was like, I called him and I told him, you know, he was taken into custody. And Drake Bell's dad was just like, oh, thank God it wasn't you. And Drake Bell was just like, yeah. And then eventually, years down the line, I think, ended up telling him. And I just can't imagine having to be his dad and just being like, I should have tried harder, Something like that, that you're just like, there was nothing that that man could do because the guy that groomed and sexually abused Drake Bell made it so that his dad got fully pushed out because he was like, Drake, you should listen to me. Drake's mom, you should listen to me. Like, so disgusting.
Mm. And then now on the heels of that, we got all this stuff with Puffy going on.
This,
So
I think the show really just like helped to expose a bunch of things, and so other people are like, now's my time to start saying like everything that was happening to me. So yeah, the this P Diddy stuff is also very gross.
yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you see the things that I sent you? Or maybe I just
uh,
sent them to Chris, but like where
no,
Justin Bieber was like, ugh, I don't want to be around this guy. Like it was very easy to tell that
yeah,
Justin Bieber was like, you didn't have my number, that's why we never like hooked up and stuff. And you can like see him look at the camera and you just know how uncomfortable he is about this whole thing, but there's
mm-hmm,
no one to stop it.
yep,
Ugh,
yeah. There's,
ugh.
it is wild. I want to hear from the Disney kids because we talked to a lot of Nickelodeon kids and they said all this stuff and we haven't heard anything from That's So Raven. We we haven't heard nothing from them people, and that NDA must be strong.
Yeah, I would really hope that, you know, maybe, I don't know, because I don't know how, like, if Nickelodeon kids, like, ever really got to interact much with the Disney kids. I'm sure there was, like, some crossover and whatnot, where they'd be at, like, parties or something together. But I wonder if they, like, were able to relate to each other in some ways like that, or explain their experiences and be like, that's happening to you guys too? Like, I don't know. I would also like to hear from Disney, but Disney owns so much shit. You know what? Maybe they're more powerful than Bill Gates. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! You didn't.
Oh, like
All right.
Hannah Montana and stuff like that. Like those shows that were really big. I want to hear like Miley Cyrus. Because you know, Miley Cyrus went a little crazy for a little while, and people are like, what is she doing? And it's like, is she trying to break her stigma of being, you know, cute little country girl singer, or is she losing her shit?
Okay, I have a theory about Miley Cyrus.
All right.
Okay, so my theory on Miley Cyrus is that I think that was all just an attempt to um for her to be like, hey, look at me, look at how edgy I am. A very calculated PR attempt, albeit misguided, because all of that wild stuff that you heard about her, like uh, 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 wearing booty shorts with her thing hanging out and all of that,
Yeah.
um, all of that was on stage. You didn't hear about her losing her mind off stage. She wasn't drinking. There weren't pictures of her like leaving the club at 3 in the morning and running into people. Like she would like they'd show a couple of them where she was just leaving the club, but it was just her like with sunglasses on as she's walking away, presumably with her bodyguard who was driving. Like it wasn't like Britney Spears or Lindsay Lohan or Paris Hilton when those three ran together and
Yeah.
they all were clearly on drugs and all of that. Uh, no, it was all just all on stage. So I think it was all just a very misguided PR stunt that, you
That's
know,
fair. Yeah. I can't remember if we discussed it or what, but I remember watching something about like the Olsen twins and like their struggles with everything because they grew up also as like star children, but they weren't necessarily connected to a network besides like Full House, but I don't remember what Full House was on.
well, yeah, that was on ABC,
That's what I thought.
but also I think I don't know. I can't even imagine them being, you know, tweens and young teenagers, and people going, well, man, I can't wait till they turn 18 years old. I mean, they had to deal with that for such a long time. Like I
Yeah.
remember there were websites that were like, oh, the Olsen twins turned 18 in
Oh, I remember that.
320 days.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what's going to happen when they turn 18? Are they just going to fuck all of you ignorant motherfuckers? I realize I'm cursing a lot. I don't really care. So y'all just strap in. But no, it's wild to me whenever people say stuff like that. To me, it falls in the same line of, oh, you better watch out when your girls start dating. I'm like, for fucking what?
Right?
Like what's going to happen when they start dating? Well, you're going to have all these
Such gross
boys
culture.
start coming around. And my first response usually is, so you're preemptively calling my daughters whores. Well, no, I'm not saying that. Well, okay, well then what are you saying?
Well, you
You
know
saying
how
all these...
boys are. Well, then raise your boys better. I don't know.
Right. Raise your boys not to be rapists. Do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I've done got into many people about that. You know. And it's usually people of a certain age where they're just like, oh yeah, just wait till they start dating. I'm like, fucking just stop.
Yeah.
You're going to have your hands full with that one. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Gross culture.
So, all right. Can we move on to something way more fun to talk about?
Yeah, man.
Okay, good. Okay. So let's do Spiderverse.
Ooh.
Because that dropped, I guess the trailer dropped on Monday, and then Tuesday they were like, hey, here's a 5-minute short film to tide you over until Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out. Is it Beyond the Spider-Verse, the next one?
I think that was what it is.
Okay.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Into, Across, and Beyond. Yeah,
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, you know what? For a little 5-minute short with very little quote-unquote spider action in it, I guess it's okay. I don't know really what I was expecting, but that's okay. It's all right.
I really dug it. I thought it was, like, as you're saying, like you have no context of what's really going on, but I thought it was cool. I like the whole, like, scary horror element, especially, like, when he first comes in and his dad does the, like, boo, let's watch a horror movie. And then he's just, I'm not surprised to see Miles struggling with, like, his identity of being Spider-Man, also having school, also having all these expectations from his parents and whatnot. So I really like seeing that side of, like, is he gonna, like, just mentally break down at some point and just be like, I can't do it anymore. So, but I also like the, like, horror element of that shadowy creature and all that. I thought it was really cool. I'm very excited to see what comes with all that. I'm very excited for this next movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
As good as the first two were, I have no worries about the third.
Yeah. All right. Now, me and you had a big discussion earlier this week because I stumbled sideways into probably my favorite website of 2024. And before we talk about this, I have to make a very important disclaimer here because I feel like you and Chris might not have felt where I was coming from on this. So I have to tell the world this because I have a lot of friends that are creative types. I'm friends with artist people. I am friends with musicians. I personally know Deanna Gierzak, who made our theme for this show that we use now. Okay. I met her when we worked together. Okay, so I know people personally. I have been in bands. I am a musician myself. Saying that, I stumbled sideways into a artificial intelligence music making website, and I had the time of my life making dumb music for an evening. Um, Two things to note. First, we are in dire trouble in the music industry because it took me longer to come up with a prompt than it did for this thing to generate music with lyrics and everything else.
Dang.
It is the wildest shit I've ever seen. So the website I went to is a website called Suno. Suno.ai. And it's just like I said, you go in there, you type in a prompt, and 2 or 3 minutes later, it spits out something. And I put these AI things to task because I want to see what we're dealing with. See if I can break the algorithm, as it were.
Okay.
So the prompt that I sent that was on the song that I sent you was create a rap song about big booty girls trying to steal food from me when I am at the Waffle House after the club. Make it in the style of 2003 Atlanta-based rappers. Now, dear listener, I'm going to play the entirety of that song for you right now.
In the club all night, feeling fly, feeling tight. We hit the Waffle House trying to get our appetite. But these girls with big booties, they be eyeing my plate. Trying to steal my food, but they beg the wait. I got my waffles on my plate. Top was served so sweet, but these girls in the corner, they be plotting to eat. Baby, I am my hash browns, reaching across the table. But I ain't letting them take it away, they able. I'm at the Waffle House after the club. Big booties trying to steal my grub. But I ain't sharing, it's all mine to keep. I'ma enjoy my meal while these girls weep. Yeah, yeah. I'm at the Waffle House after the club. Big booties trying to steal my grub. But I ain't sharing, it's all mine to keep. I'ma enjoy my meal while these girls weep.
Okay, now that's the song, and I have to say, it's a banger because I've been humming it all week long. Raven, what did you think of my Waffle House song?
I definitely thought it was cute. I thought it was catchy. I even sent it to one of our friends, and she was like, yo, who was this? And I was like, Chris's brother that I do the podcast with put it into an AI thing. And she was like, that's crazy. I know that Chris was like, no, it is catchy, but it's the whole like AI thing. And that he was just like, I don't know if I fuck with it because of, I don't know. I don't know Chris's stance with it. But like I do understand that he's like worried about the whole don't want to take things away from people that can make things. I think that was just like his biggest thing.
Yeah.
But
And
for like a minute and a half of music, it was really good. It made me laugh quite a bit.
right. And that's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah.
Like as I'm doing this, because I think I was only able to do like 4 songs before my quote unquote credits ran out. I was like, I found something else where you could get more customized with it. You could write in your own lyrics.
Oh,
So I
nice.
dusted off one of my old songs from the past that's like 20 years old now and said, okay, well, let's see what happens when I put that into the thing. And it came out with a song, like, seriously, it came out with a West Coast banger. It was the wildest thing. I put it in, like, for the most part, it wasn't, I realized that me putting it in, I maybe put a comma somewhere that didn't need to be there, or a period somewhere, so it kind of didn't do the stanza quite right. But I mean, we're batting at like a 93% efficiency here.
Damn.
It was crazy. I could not believe it. And I think that we're on the cusp of two major different forms of music in this world. And that is going to be those people that create music with AI and those people that don't. And the people that create music with AI will in turn make completely virtual performers, a la the gorillas or like Japanese Vocaloids or whatever. And you will go to concerts in arenas, and it will be like going to a big giant rave, and there will be a digital artist in front of you, and that will be a thing. And there will just be someone who's created this and just type in prompts into AI to make music. And then there will be a completely subset, or not subset, but the opposite end of that spectrum will be your people who are, know how to play instruments and sing songs and structure songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, do you remember? I'm trying to think of when it was. It was probably like 2020, 2019 that Pokemon did that whole virtual thing with Post Malone, where Post Malone was on some like stage just floating around during different little sections of the Poke universe, which that was really cool, to be honest. Like, I'm sure that they like did the little like scanny thing where he's like performing, and then they just like make it into his little character or whatever.
Yeah.
Type thing. Yeah. I can see what you mean though. But it's going to be very interesting, especially if it's going to be like AI, because how are they going to like try and structure vocals and stuff like that? It's just what I'm like, how does this work?
Yeah.
But
and I don't know, this technology has come so far in just the past year. Because a year ago, if you would have went into ChatGPT and said, hey, give me a picture of, I don't know, my go-to is I want a picture of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in cowboy hats. And it could not do that at all. At all. Not even a little. And I think it was not long ago, I found one of these things and said, all right, let's see where we're at. And I said, give me a Ninja Turtle in a cowboy hat. And I'm telling you, it was shocking how beautiful this picture was. I was like, oh boy, we are in trouble. Now, one pitch that I will do for AI that I think is absolutely stellar. I think AI has its place in supplementing, helping, not doing completely, but helping people do things. It's fantastic for recipes. If you need a recipe for something, you're trying to watch your weight, need calories, you need macros, you need whatever, go to ChatGPT, say, I need a recipe for lasagna, give it to me. And it's like, cool, here we go. This serves 6. Here's your calorie breakdown. Here's your macro breakdown. It's great. You can do all that. As soon as they make a plug-in where it'll just export it right to your little food tracking app, it will be unstoppable. It can make you an entire meal plan uh, instantly. Of
That's
like,
crazy.
hey, I'm trying to keep it under 2,000 calories. Here's my percentage of these different macros. Do it. Boom. It's wild. If you need some type of, if you need some kind of code written, I know plenty of IT people who have written or who have went to it and been like, hey, how do I do this? And I need code for it. They're like, oh yeah, here, cool. Here you go. Um, uh,
What
yeah,
the heck? We're
there
living in the
is,
future.
there is a place for it to help out, for it to supplement the stuff that we already do. So don't hit me in the comments and be like, but you can still use it. I know you can, but, and also don't come at me and be like, but it's kids killing jobs. So yeah, we will find a balance. I promise. But it's going to be rough for a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
It'll definitely be roof.
so.
Anyways,
All right. Are you ready to get into it now that we've done talked for like a super long time already about other stuff?
and that's the episode.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Woo! All right. I've been waiting to talk to you for this one for like 3 weeks now, I think. Because you went ahead and like jumped the gun and watched it too early a
Teehee.
couple weeks ago. So
Yeah.
but this one, oh boy, this one, we just threw everything out the window. We just stopped caring. We watched F9, the Fast Saga, and this was not my first time watching it, but I know it was Raven's first time watching it, so I am thrilled to death to say,
Ooh.
Raven, what did you think of F9?
Man, oh man. There was some crazy shit going on in this movie. I was just like, what are we doing here? For quite a bit. And, you know, I remember at some point Roman just being like, hey, isn't it crazy how we never like really get hurt? And I was like, thank God somebody's out here calling the shit out to be like, I got shot by bullets. I have holes in my shirt, but I'm fine. That's all I'm going to say about this because I want us to talk about the nonsense that went on in this movie for Roman to be like, you know what? He's right. What's going on here?
I mean, I'm surprised it took him until F9 before he was like, oh, hey, this is so crazy.
So, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're kind of getting lost in the sauce here a little bit. I feel like we have, like, the producers, the directors, like, everyone's just like, we don't care anymore. Like, this is the first one where I felt like genuinely, um, uh, just give these idiots whatever they want. They want exploding cars, cool, give it to them. Like, we don't have the Rock anymore, so let's get some other muscle bound dude in here. It don't matter. Everybody's interchangeable, you know. Um, it was, I don't know, and then having Roman kind of breaking that fourth wall, that meta narrative to be like, are we
Mhm.
invincible? And everyone else being like, no, dummy. Course, man, we're just really good drivers that drive on ice and submarines and stuff. You know.
Oh, God.
So yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I have mixed feelings because there were some parts of it that I did kind of enjoy, but other parts I'm like, I feel like you just slapped me in the face and expect me just to take it. And we can just
Yeah.
go ahead and get into this because they get into it very early on in the movie. Dom has a brother.
Dude, the whole like beginning scene where it's like Toretto dad is doing the race and then dies in front of his two boys. First of all, where was Mia during this whole thing? She wasn't out there. We know she likes cars and stuff. But
Oh,
anyways,
we'll get to the younger versions of our favorite characters here in a minute.
Jesus. All right. But that was just like wild to watch in itself. And then it's just like, here we are, baby Brian. Let's learn the ropes. Give me this thingy. Is that what I said? No. All right, give me the right one. I don't even know what it was. I don't even know
Yeah,
wrenches and shit.
it
that
doesn't
stuff.
matter.
But I was
It
just like, bro, gotta train these kids right.
right, and like, and then when the random car shows up, and they're like, Brian, get in the panic room or the panic box or whatever it is he gets into.
They got glocked up.
And I'm thinking to myself, who is your enemies now? Like, seriously. You have all this technology. You got the best tech. You got Mr. Nobody working with you and all of this other stuff. And one of two things is going to happen. Either they're just going to bomb you from like 30,000 feet up, or you should have a perimeter system set up.
For real.
And I wouldn't even question it at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, the alarms went off. We got a car. Were you expecting company? No. Okay, cool. Get things ready. Boom. Like, just something to be like, yes, we are on high alert. You know, like do a quick little scene where Mr. Nobody is like, or say something. Like, you could have a throwaway line like, oh yeah, you know, like, we left this world behind, Mr. Nobody, blah blah. Just something to set it up. Like, yes, we are still actively in danger, but just to be like, oh yeah, we're a happy family. And then this car shows up, and you're gonna put the kid in a box.
Yeah.
And
yeah, no, that was wild.
Vin Diesel was shaking so bad holding that shotgun. I don't know if you noticed that, but I was like, come on, man. You cannot be shaking this bad holding this shotgun.
As many, like, situations that he's, like, supposedly been in, and then he's like, it's all about the family. I gotta protect my son. This is his moment. Also, Dom, like, insinuated to his son that he's God at that, like, one little spot. And I was just like, what the fuck, my guy? What are you... I don't know. That whole, like, beginning scene was just wild.
It was.
And then they, like... when they, like, show him the little, like, photo on the iPad, and he's, like, zooms in, like, enhances. You know, we love some good enhancement on these photos and whatnot, where they just, like, he zooms in and it's the necklace, and you're just like, what? For me, specifically, I was like, how, is there another necklace? What we got going on here?
I literally wrote my notes in all caps, enhance.
Yeah, same.
So we gotta talk about this thing too. Why do you take someone as beautiful as Charlize Theron and not once but twice give her just the absolute most messed up haircut you possibly can give her?
It was bad. It was so bad.
I can only think, you know what, let me pull it up while I'm talking. I can only think that maybe she was coming off of Mad Max Fury Road and she was growing her hair back after it being bald.
Okay, but we've all heard of wigs, so, like...
It's true.
There's no reason for that. Did she not look in the mirror and go, what am I looking at? You expect me to be filmed like this. It was so ugly. Man. Oh my God.
Let's see. No,
what?
Maybe. I'm looking. There's the boys. Where's Mad Max at?
I don't know, my man. I have not watched.
Oh shit! Mad Max was 2015. Oh no, they did that by choice.
Oh,
oh,
that's even worse.
Oh man, Well, I tried to give her an out, and I just could not do it.
Sorry, ma'am, but they just fucked you over.
Oh, that was horrible. Okay. Um, yeah. Uh, so we get we get Ludacris and um Ramsey and Tej, or excuse me, Tej is Ludacris. So we get Tej, Roman, Ramsey show up, and they show them like, "Hey, we need you to help us save Mister Nobody. We got to go to the jungle. What are we gonna do?" And Letty's like, "I'm down," and Dom's like, "No, I got a family." And we're like, "All right, cool, I guess." But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, like, Letty's just gonna be like, "Hey, peace out. See you later."
For
You
real.
know, like you're essentially this kid's mother right now. Um, so I don't know. Uh, but whatever. And then we go to the jungle. Um,
And
so
it seems like they got there so fast. Did it
this,
not? Oh my god.
yes. Now, this, I have a note that says the infrastructure this team has is incredible because they go to other countries. They got all these different types of cars. They got all this stuff in place to go to another country, and boom, they're just doing stuff in loud, very prevalent looking cars. You know, yeah, it's crazy. And how does Dom have a brand new Challenger in the jungle?
Uh, uh, thank you for bringing that up. It was so good. I like the part where he's like, "Be careful," and then Letty's like, "Careful is when you get hurt," and then wheelies on a motorcycle. I laughed so hard at that.
This, I feel like this was absolutely 100% like first draft of the script because there was other lines where
Ooh.
I could not this is the most wooden dialogue I've ever heard. Um, but they find the thing, they're riding through, they find whatever the MacGuffin is for this dumb thing. I guess it's half of a thing that can take over all of the electronics in the world. Sure. And
Just casually clearing landmines.
right, clearing landmines, they go in the jungle, they drop it off the back of a motorcycle or whatever, and who shows up? It's John Cena! That's what I thought the entire time. Every John Cena joke came back to me. I was like, I want to hear
Oh.
the horns. I want to know why this car is driving itself. I want to know why things.
Oh, you know. It's just
All
'cause
of it.
you can't see him. He's just, wow. You know?
Right. No,
Oh my god.
when he pulled up and just scooped that thing up with the door open, I was like, you know what the short's going to be this week. I'm just giving everyone's a heads up. It may not be on Monday, maybe on Tuesday, but just go ahead and get ready. Just click on that YouTube link because this is what it's going to be right here. No.
Dude, seeing Roman driving that big ass truck and then it like gets stuck in between those massive rocks. And then Tej and Ramsey really just thought that they watched that man get absolutely crushed to death. And then he just comes walking out and he's like, yo, that was weird.
Right.
How'd that happen?
Invincible.
I don't know, man. The whole team is at this just now. Like, this movie is when we find out that literally everyone is just, nobody's gonna die. It's cool.
Right. Because right after this,
Oh my Oh my gosh.
Raven, he does Tarzan swing across a ravine. And
It was insane to watch that.
for years I complained about the 37-mile long runway. Years. And as we've been watching this, I'm like, you know what? I'm on board with it. Fast 7, masterpiece. I still think it's my favorite now. Um, uh, this, again, I genuinely feel like this is the people going, it don't matter. Just do some dumb thing. These idiots will just gobble it up.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to watch a car Spider-Man swing around? Let's do it. How? Explain. We don't have to.
And Michelle Rodriguez, again, we got to get her in something like legitimately dramatic, because she sold the hell out of that scene. I know that she was just in a car on a blue screen, but she looked like she was legitimately scared when they were swinging. I was like, oh my goodness, Michelle Rodriguez. And this is the first of many times I will praise Michelle Rodriguez on this podcast.
She's so good.
Listen.
She's amazing.
This whole series has made me really appreciate her as an actress. Like, I liked her before, but the fact that she is acting like literally against nothing in a lot of these scenes and she is selling it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Next to Vin Diesel.
Yeah, next to Vin Diesel.
Literally only has like one face. There's no emotion.
You're right. He makes that face when he's crying, when he's happy, when he's sad, when he's angry. That's his face.
Oh, God.
So.
Dude, seeing Mia show up, I was like, where the hell are all the kids at? You just gonna leave them with Brian?
Yes, because we haven't killed off Brian in this franchise. We should. I know.
I know. It's such a like whole thing that it's like, you really think that Mia would come and just be like, Brian didn't want to come. So, anyways, what are we doing here, guys? Watching that like scene, where you see how Dom goes to like jail and whatnot, and then eventually you see those two fucking goons working on a car, and you're like, really? This is how we get the backstory of those two? The dudes that literally just show up randomly and then just leave.
Right.
I literally never remember their name. Because they're here and then they're gone.
Yep. It was so weird.
Man.
Oh, dagnabbit. I'm looking up the actor who played young Dom. I thought he did great.
Yeah.
I thought his name is Vinny Bennett. Vinny Bennett. I thought he did great because he did a few things where I was like, oh yeah, you've clearly watched Vin Diesel in these movies because you have mannerisms. You have very good Vin Diesel mannerisms.
Nice.
No. And young Jacob, I was just like, all right, yeah, cool, man. Good job, Finn Cole. Oh.
It took 51 minutes for the very first family to get set. Yeah, 51 minutes. And this movie's like 2.5 hours long.
Oh, yeah, yes it is. Because I was an hour in and paused it and was like, oh, shit, I got another hour and a half?
I was literally like, I was like, Chris, how? And we were both just stunned.
No.
Oh, but then...
And, hold on.
Go for it.
You mentioned before, like, Mia showing up and was like, oh, where's the kids? How did Mia get out there?
You know she's got a tracking device on her brother.
I guess, like, even if Letty was like, oh, yeah, cool, we're, like, in the Caspian Sea or wherever the hell they were, and they were, and she was like, cool, I'll be there. They've only been there, like, 5 minutes. She gets out there, like...
knows exact spot. That's
exact spot.
She probably has one under his skin at this point. They both have one on each other. That way they always know
Mm.
they're safe.
Uh,
But fuck Jacob.
yeah, fuck Jacob. All right. So about this point in the movie was when we find out that one of our lost comrades is back with us. How did you feel finding out that Han is still alive?
Dude, well, you see the like thing that like Han's death is connected, and man, this whole thing was just, it feels like a wild goose chase for them to try and constantly connect things to the other movies so they can be like, "Oh yeah, let's bring this back. Hey, do you remember this? No, you don't, because we didn't actually say it. But here you go. You
Right.
know I love Han. But man, just I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
just let him
Letty
just
and
let the
Mia
character go.
literally just are like, "Yeah, see you later. We're going to Tokyo."
Right. Because that's our Mexico, and that's how I'm going to leave you a clue that this is my apartment. I'm going to put a Mexican flag in this Tokyo alley.
Yeah. But shout out to Bama Boy still being over there in Tokyo, just
Yeah.
making cars that can
No,
fly
no,
with
they were
plane
in
engines.
Germany.
What?
They were in Germany.
Were they? What the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah, they were in Germany.
How are they in
Oh,
Germany? No, because they went to Han's little shop that was in Tokyo. Someone else
no,
went to Germany. What? I
no,
don't even know what's happening anymore.
no. Country Boy, Bow Wow, and some random Asian dude were in uh not Stockholm.
Bro,
Hold, yeah, I gotta find this. Um,
insanity. Oh, that's right. Because everyone's like split up.
yeah, they
I don't
traveled to
know.
Germany to recruit Sean Boswell, Twinkie, and Earl. Yeah, whoever the fuck Earl is.
Oh, you know.
Maybe he was in Tokyo Drift. I don't know.
I
Any
I don't know.
anyway, um, but yeah, like we get them for just a second. I remember as I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, like, wait a second, Ludacris and Roman have never met these dudes, and they just walk up to these guys like, oh hey, um, like, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was.
Hey,
It,
you guys know Dom and Han? We do too. We're blood brothers now.
yeah, yeah.
That's all you need.
Welcome to the family.
For real.
Oh,
Seeing the like, you know, the whole thing where they like find the little Mexican flag and it's like, oh, someone's watching them. Who is it? And then you're like, Han has like a sister, but somehow she like knows both of these girls' names. What is happening here? That was just like such a weird introduction of like, Letty, Mia, come with me. And you're just like, what? And then Han just shows up and they're like, what?
yep.
Every single time that people like saw Han, they were just like, "Hey, welcome back, brother. How you not dead?" And he's just like, "I don't know, but I
R-
got this kid that I
r-
just kind of took out of a house at one point. She's mine now." This movie was so weird.
So as far as retconning stuff, I'm going to take you back like a month now because I very much remember, because I had to point this out to you at the time.
Hmm.
There was a scene in Fast Five where they're gathering your crew together and Dom and Brian are out on the balcony and they're talking about their respective families. And Brian's like, oh, I never knew my dad, blah, 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 blah. And Dom was like, oh, it's just me and Mia and this, that, and the other. Not once. Like, what? Especially because I knew where we were heading.
Yeah.
Watching all these movies back to back to back over the weeks, there was not a single point in this franchise where he mentions he has a brother, and he talks about his family, like specifically they set aside moments to talk about how him and Mia grew up and all of this and whatever.
Yeah.
um you know, their dad like crashed presumably when Dom was like what, 18, 19 years old. They always make it seem like, oh yeah, we just grew up, when we were young and we didn't have anybody to keep an eye, kept everybody. No, man, like both of y'all was pretty much grown when your dad passed away. You know, like it sucks that y'all were like young adults, but you know,
Yeah. And there was a brother in there at some point.
right. And
But just because you think that your brother killed your father, you're just like, nah, he doesn't exist, period.
right.
That man was never there.
No.
I don't know, man. But the Toretto standoff that they had.
I showed you mercy. What are you talking about? Hold on. I don't want to gloss over Helen Mirren showing up. I love her. Yeah. She's great. Her cameo was absolutely perfect. She shows up. She's like, here's an exposition dump in the middle of a cool action scene. Boom, I'm out. Later. Perfect. Absolutely so perfect. Yeah, sorry, standoff. Go ahead.
I don't even know, man. Like, just their whole thing. And then Mia's just like, what? We don't fuck with that guy no more? No. Okay.
Yeah. And then, Cardi B shows up. Did you like the cameo from Cardi B?
Bro,
where she gave you the absolute worst line reads of the entire movie.
Why was she here? She literally cannot act. It was literally just like herself, which is nothing I am like into. Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, I guess, because I think we're getting ready to move into like kind of the last part of the movie. Because honestly, up to this point, I'm just kind of like, whatever. One of the flashbacks when Dom shows up to the race and he's going to race Jacob to see whether or not if he gets to come home or not, which is dumb anyway. But we get to see the original crew as young teenagers, I guess. Right. Who are the infants they got to play these kids, because they all looked simultaneously 25 and 12. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. It was so weird to see that. Like, baby Letty. It's just like, I love you, Dom. And you're just like, what?
It was, yeah. It was so crazy.
You never deserved the Toretto name.
Oh, man. All right. I guess now we're in Scotland, I think. And I don't know.
Can we talk about the longest zip line ever?
Oh,
because
yes.
What was that? He just kept going. And I was like, how? How is nobody like paying attention to the fact that John Cena is over here just like zoom across a bunch of buildings? And then Dom's just like, I'ma get him. And break into someone's house. And they're just like, sorry. We didn't mean to disturb you.
And you know what's really so wild about all of this, and this is like that infrastructure thing that kills me, and harkens back to the beginning of the movie when we're watching Dom drive a Charger through the jungle, and now he's driving this super muscled out American car in Scotland. I've been to Edinburgh, Scotland. I've been to the roads that they're running, like that they're scooting along on. Nothing, absolutely nothing sticks out more in the UK than an American muscle car, specifically a loud American muscle
Right?
car. Not This is wild to me that he's trying to be inconspicuous with literally something that sticks out like a sore thumb over there.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Maybe that's why I put that down because I saw a note that I put down and I was like, immortal car? Question mark. Immortal man. Whatever.
Yep.
Because like his love for his big old muscle cars. I don't know.
Hmm. And man, I did like the part where like Ramsey's kind of learning to drive. She was like, I don't know how to drive. I'm a computer person. I thought that was a cool little thing.
That stressed me out so
Yeah,
much.
but it
Well,
was
yeah,
supposed
because I'm
to.
like, yeah, I know. But as someone that's like, I don't know, I drive around for my job. I've been in a few wrecks, and like that in itself gave me anxiety. And the way that people drive around here in Knoxville also gives me super anxiety. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep watching this. Like I was like physically dying on the inside. But yeah, I liked it. It was like a good little thing. So it's just like, what do you mean you don't know how to drive? Everyone here, that's what we do.
Right. And she hasn't learned like any over the years of hanging out with these dudes. No one sat her down and been like, hey, no, I don't know.
Uh, I like that Roman was the only like sane person talking about like not wanting to go to space, and Tej is just like, nah, it'll work. Here's the suits we're gonna wear. And he's
Oh,
like, what
Raven.
the fuck? He's like, I eat candy when I get nervous. And it's
Oh,
like,
Raven.
fucking,
Oh, here.
of course you have NOS to like
Yeah, I
force
wrote that about
this
us too.
insane car to continue to fly into space. There was
So,
so much shit going on in this
so
movie.
here's the other part of this movie that I have like a legit beef with, because I get that we're doing all these fantastical stuff again, 37-mile long runway, but we never, like, I have a problem with Roman talking about, hey, are we immortal? Like, you never talk about that, okay? Unless you are like an actual superhero. The action star never goes, hey, maybe we're in a movie or we're immortal or whatever.
Yeah.
And you never, unless like you are in a very specific setting, never say nothing as dumb as, and I quote, the numbers don't lie. As long as we obey the laws of physics, we will be fine.
Is
And
he wrong?
in this movie, you don't say shit about physics. You absolutely do not. It was so just like that to me was the point when I feel like everybody involved in this film go, just give the dumb idiots what they want.
We
No.
want to see him go to space.
Right. And so mad at this movie because I feel like the only place that we have not had a car chase is underwater, and we had the perfect opportunity in them fucking tunnels and we didn't. Instead, we got Dominic Toretto literally supermaning by grabbing the chains and pulling them down. What the hell are we doing? We missed a part. And he fell an indeterminate amount, hit the water, and then somehow survived because Michelle Rodriguez showed up out of nowhere and acted her ass off. That's what saved Dominic Toretto. It wasn't family, it wasn't love, it was Michelle Rodriguez's good acting. Oh, and then Sean's country voice as he's flying that plane. Oh man, listen, man, we're gonna get up in this altitude, man. I'm gonna hit this button, man. We're gonna go on, man. I mean, it might as well have been King of the Hill at this point.
I'd be fine just like, you know what? That's what they need to do. They need to like actually make King of the Hill characters and just throw them on the team. Just let them
Can
shoot the shit, you know?
can I use AI to make a Fast and the Furious with Hank Hill?
Probably. That'd be
Okay.
so fucking funny.
All right, I'll get to work on that.
Thank you.
Um,
Um, did you feel like Dom at any moment could have just like killed so many people when he's driving around with those fucking big ass magnets? I was like,
yes.
what are you doing? Because you're just willy nilly trying to get all these other people off your ass. But like, my guy, I get that we're not in America and you know, you're probably like, I don't give a fuck anymore. That's why I brought my muscle car. If it ain't American soil, who cares? Sir.
My car is American soil. By crashing into me, it's become an international incident. I have
Oh my
diplomatic
gosh.
immunity.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's mass destruction. Um, you know, it's there's so many scenes where like John Cena, like I was waiting for the turn with John Cena, but at the same time, like, um, I knew John Cena was going to end up being a good guy, and because that's just how these movies work now. Like, oh, we have a main villain now; they're going to work for us. But the main villain guy, I still can't even tell you his name. I don't know what the hell his name is, because he was not a good villain at all.
True. Yeah. Oh wait, was it Otto? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Was it
did
Otto?
put it. I literally only put it in there because I was like, Cypher really just got free because she like talked with Otto and was like, "What's up, man?" And he was just like, "Woman with a terrible haircut? I'm in."
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then we get this. I don't know. It's kind of a fun action scene once you shut your brain off, and it's just like cool. Like cars are being magnetized and stuff, and all this crazy stuff's happening. John Cena, uh, when he got into the sports car and then drove off, um, uh, and we were like, oh man, like, hold on, I have it here. Um, uh, Dom like soccer like whipped this other car, like he crashed in this one car, so like it would get in the way of John Cena falling, so he like didn't get hurt or whatever. Um,
By bouncing him off the side of the car.
right. And then they say something to the effect of like, "How are we gonna get to this thing?" Whatever. And John Cena goes, "I can handle that," and then like drifts into the scene. And I wrote in my notes, I was like, that's how you do an intro right there. Just drifted like, I'm here, bitches. Let's do it. I was like, oh yes, John Cena, welcome to the family. So, what did you think about when Vin Diesel jumped out of that moving car to crash into the airplane or whatever, and he landed in superhero pose? Did you notice that?
Did he really?
He did. He absolutely did.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This was he literally just like walks out of the flames and you're just like, "What? What are we I
And meanwhile,
I don't even know what to say."
while all of this is going on, we're cutting back and forth in between Tyrese and Ludacris up there, like having a real heart to heart, going, "We're gonna die in space. Let's crash the satellite." Yeah, and then the International Space Station finds them. They're like, "Why do they look like minions? What
Dude,
are
it
we doing?"
cracked me up when they were oh my gosh, when they said that. I was just like, "No. There's who's writing this stuff?
The same guy who's written all of them.
Tell him he needs to seek therapy.
I think it's the
Maybe
same
seek
guy.
God. I don't know. But something's wrong with his brain at this point."
Oh no, this is the oh no, this guy hasn't written any of them except Fast 9.
Shit, that's probably why
Oh
he wasn't allowed
crap.
back.
Yeah, okay.
Did you
Yeah.
notice, after like a whole bunch of stuff, Han was like the only one covered in like blood and scratches, and then everyone else was literally just fine. After everything that happens, I was just
That's
like, what
because
the fuck? He's
that's
not
because canonically
immortal!
that's because canonically we have determined that Han cannot fight. But yet he's in there in the magnet truck trying to fight somebody and we're like, "No, sir, you cannot. This should not be your
My
job."
poor man. Somebody get him out of there. Oh my gosh.
No.
The part where Dom like takes little B to the spot where he's like, this is where my dad died. This is where I saw him last.
Oh
It's just
yeah.
like, why would you take your, like, I don't know how old this kid is. I don't know if he's like 2 or 3. But it's just like so wild to be like, this is where my dad died.
um
Oh, man. But don't
oh
worry. I know that we remember the house exploding and going up in flames. But we rebuilt the house. We got our corona. And we
yeah, we
got
do.
that whole family back in the game.
Santos is back. He's out there on the grill cooking stuff up. It was nice to have him for a day. Uh and you know what? I'll say this. I've been praising Michelle Rodriguez this whole podcast. Uh she is the absolute best stepmother to little Brian. She is. She's like, "Hey, listen, you know, we both know that I'm not your biological mother, and but I want you to know, like, she's not like bitchy about this other lady or nothing. It's like, hey, I met your mom right here, like right in that driveway a couple years ago before you were born, or blah blah blah, or something like that.
Yeah,
You know, and I'm like, you know what?
good for you, girl.
Yeah, good for you.
That Letty's not like, I can't believe Dom was out there fucking because he thought I was dead.
Right.
Or because we weren't together or something. Like, what? You ready to say grace? And then you just see like the empty chair and it's, he's on the way. But also, he pulled up in his little like blue sporty car. Wouldn't
Yeah, he
he be
did.
pulling up in the minivan?
He
Because
should be.
he's big dad now.
Yep. Should be. But,
Interesting.
you know, that's not as recognizable.
I know.
So, all right. Well, I'm good on this.
Same.
All right.
7 families. That's what we got this movie.
That's it.
Right?
See, we had way more families than Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
This is weird.
All right. Well, I am looking forward for you guys to watch Fast 10 next week, Fast X, because I have praised Jason Momoa's performance in Fast X. I think that this man is holding this movie on his back because out of all the ridiculousness, I feel like he's the one who was like, "Oh yeah, I'm here for it. Y'all get ready, bitches." So, especially because everyone else is trying so hard to make it such a serious action movie, they're trying to make it Mission Impossible, and Jason Momoa is very much like, "No." So, I am
He's like, I know what this franchise is about.
absolutely
You guys don't anymore.
So I am ready for us to talk about that next week. And then that'll bring it in. We might just have to do just that and then just a roundup of Fast and Furious, like just talk about it. This adventure we've been on for literal months now. And I am so desperately ready to stop watching Fast and Furious movies.
What? I
never
can't
thought
believe that.
I never thought I'd say that, but I think it's just because we've been mainlining them. The guys at work have been talking to me about like, oh man, you can watch like Chronicles of Riddick. I'm like, no, I'm good with Vin Diesel right now. I really just want to defrag my brain and watch a really, really dumb, like, I don't know, man, like a really good, just kind of dumb, campy monster movie
That
uh,
sounds
would would
great.
would probably just reset all of my circuit breakers right now and make me just happy as a clam. So we'll have to talk about this next week and figure out what movie we're gonna watch. But just think about it. So
Yeehaw.
all right. So with that being said, let's move on to our most favorite time of the week. My favorite time of the week, anyway, where we talk about the things that have made us happy. So, Raven, I go to you. Please tell me what has made you happy this week.
Dude, I'm just enjoying spring. Straight up. I love winter because I love the chilliness and all that jazzery. And I hate time change because obviously I don't want to lose sleep, even if it's an hour. And it's a whole thing that your body has to get used to. But it's just nice to be like, oh, I can go outside and not be miserable right now. We took the boys to the park today and they had a wonderful time and it just felt great outside. It's like getting ready to do all your planting stuff. You get some ice cream, everything's happy. I am not looking forward to summer though. I'm just going to state that because I hate humidity. But other than that, that's what's really been making me like happy this week. It's just nice weather. I don't even care if it's raining. As long as it's not like freezing cold, it's great. How about you, man? What's made you happy?
Getting to go do Easter stuff with my family. Um, Not so much the Easter baskets and just kind of that part of it, but I like I like going to do Easter with my country cousins, as I call them. It's great to go there and do Easter because when I was first, man, this has to have been like at least, well, 20 something years ago now, when my dad and my now stepmother were dating. They, I would come home from leave in the military and be like, oh, we are having a thing at my parents' house in Eastman. You should show up. All of our family's going to be there and whatever. So I would show up, or I showed up, and I think this was my first time meeting everybody, with the exception of my stepmother's daughter, because I'd met her one time, and me and like her friends and her husband at the time, like we just all went out and got just hammered drunk, and it was a blast. So
Nice.
I get out there and we're hanging out with the kids, and we're just kind of butting around, and then all of a sudden all the grown-ups come in and go, all right, it's time to hunt eggs. And Crystal, my sister, is like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, I'm not gonna hunt eggs. I'm a grown man. I'm not gonna do that, because I think I might have been like 21 at the time. And she goes, no, you're gonna hunt eggs. I'm like, no, I'm not. There's all these kids around. She's like, all right, well, you know what, too bad, you're going. And they brought me in, and it was just a great memory of hunting Easter eggs as a grown man, as a 21-year-old. And now that I have kids, doing this, I'm trying to encourage Alice, be like, come on, man, go out there. I don't want to hunt eggs. Like,
But it's so fun.
you bah humbug. But it was for sure, like, I like going back down there and getting a chance to do all that.
Yeah.
It's like a core memory that I get to kind of unlock and get to experience and see it through all the other young kids' eyes. And I have another thing that has made me happy, because it happened like literally 30 minutes before we started recording. Earlier this week, we were talking about a video game called Blue Dragon for the Xbox 360, and you guys were like, "Oh man, you should find a way to play that online." And I was like, man, I really wish I could, because I have exhausted every avenue that I could to try to find a working copy of this game online for years, literal years. And there's always this one part that breaks almost the first scene in the game. and you just cannot do anything with it. So I was doing some digging, and I finally found something. And I mean, this is literally years worth of troubleshooting. And I found something that someone cracked the code on last year, and I tried it, and it worked. And now I'm going to spend the rest of my week playing Blue Dragon at every waking moment. So, y'all better get ready. So excited to revisit that franchise.
I hope you have fun with that, bud.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, Raven, tell everybody where they can find you on the social media.
I like to hang out on Twitter at spooky_Raven, or I get on Instagram and do the thing. That's a Raven Ellis. You can also find this adorable little podcast that we do on other social medias at Nerd for No Reason. Mark, what about you?
You can find me on all the major platforms, social media, except for Facebook, because I'm slowly but surely weaning myself off of Facebook forever.
Do it.
Really, it's just there. I check it like once a day now, just to kind of clear out my notifications and see if there's any pictures I need to send to my my parents. That's pretty much all I use it for now. It's not on my phone anymore. It feels great. But so yeah, find me all major social media platforms at Turtles Do It. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Go check us out on YouTube. Find the pod. You can stream the podcast there. We put our shorts there. Yeah, we're making some noise over there, trying to get a bunch of subscribers so we can start monetization stuff. Yeah. So yeah, go check us out. And
do it.
I am excited that we are coming to the end of this franchise. Not for like the oh my god, I'm tired of watching Vin Diesel, but it feels like we put out a goal and we did it. We did the thing, and I guess we're gonna take a couple weeks off before we not off from the podcast, but we're not gonna jump directly into Twilight, because that's Raven's baby. I'm going to be on the other side of the aisle here going, what in the hell are we watching?
Oh, it's going to be so fun.
So, all right. Well, with all that being said, you guys go do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys ingest all the super cool latest medias, and we'll catch you around next week on the Nerd for No Reason podcast. We bid you adieu.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm at the Waffle House after the club. Big booty's trying to steal my grub, but I ain't sharing. It's all mine to keep. I'ma enjoy my meal while these girls weep.
Thank you for listening to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. You can find us on all major social media platforms at Nerd for No Reason. Our podcast music is Memories in 8-Bit by Deanna Joan, aka Fergie's Human. You can follow her on Twitter at Deanna Joan Music, and check out her other social media links in the show notes of our podcast. Special outro this week, Waffle House Chronicles by Suno AI, with prompts by Mark Holland. And while this song was created as kind of a goof and is a fun little trick, nothing takes the place of an actual person. Please, go and support your local artist, musician, or anyone else involved in the creative arts.
I'm at the Waffle House after the club. Big booty's trying to steal my grub, but I ain't sharing. It's all mine to keep. I'ma enjoy